Sir.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
Hello,
Hello.
sir.
Hello. Mute your mic, please. Now, are you completed your homework?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Not
Yes,
completed.
sir.
Yes,
Look
sir.
like
Sir.
as
Yes,
early as
sir.
possible. Okay. Now, today we are going to see science part 1, chapter number 3. What is the name of chapter? Chemical reaction and equation.
Equation.
This chapter is divided in 4 topics: chemical reaction, rules of writing chemical reaction, balancing a chemical equation, and types of chemical reaction. These are 4 topics which are in this chapter. Now, first, before to go towards the chapter, we should know what is meant by physical change and what is meant by chemical change. Can you tell me what is physical changes? Yes, anybody? Raise your hands. Raise your hands. Hello. Shinde Srushti.
The composition of matter remains the same in physical change. The change remains temporary, and this change is reversible.
Good. That means there is no any chemical reaction takes place in a physical change. Without chemical reaction, changes are takes place. That is called physical change. Can you tell me the example of physical change?
Ice
Hello.
transforms into water.
First, raise your hands. Raise your hands. Kunja Anushka.
Evaporation of water.
Good. Evaporation of water is a temporary change. That means physical change. Now, second change is chemical change. Can you tell me chemical changes? Down your hands. Those girls are completed their answer. Down your hands. Now, Utkarsha Babu.
During chemical reaction, composition of matter changes and that change remain permanent is called chemical reaction.
What is it means? The chemical reaction takes place. The changes where chemical reactions are takes place, that is called chemical change. These chemical reactions are depends upon some factors. Just after some time we are going to discuss about the factors which are related for the chemical reaction. Before it we should go those factors, that is like nature of the reactants. Nature means the reactants should be solid, liquid or gases. Second, size of the particles of the reactants. If size of the particles is smaller, then it is easy to react with the reactants. That means chemical reaction will easily takes place when size of the reactants are very small. That means in a particular particles are very small. That may be in a powder form. It is easy to go in the chemical reactions. That is size of the particles. Third, concentration of the reactant. You know first reactant. Reactant means those substances which are taking part in the chemical reaction, that is called reactants. Then concentration of the reactant. In 1 liter of water, whatever the quantity is increased, that is increase in the concentration of that substance, that is called concentration. If solute is very less in a solvent that is diluted. If solute is higher in quantity, that is called higher the concentration. If concentration of the reactant increases, it is the rapid reaction takes place because of the concentration. Then next factor is temperature. If the temperature of chemical reaction increases, then rate of chemical reaction is also increases. And last factor is catalyst. Can you tell me what you mean by catalyst? Raise your hands. Siddhe Srushti. Yes.
The substance which do not take part in chemical reaction but only with their presence control the chemical reaction. Those substance called catalyst.
Good. That means the substance which is not taking part in chemical reaction but only in presence of it controls the rate of reaction. Control means it may be either increases or decreases. That is called catalyst. Catalysts are not taking part in chemical reaction, but only in presence it controls the rate of reaction. What is meant by control? As per our need. It may be to increase or it may be to decrease the rate of reaction, that is called catalyst. Can you tell me the name of any catalyst? Chlorophyll in plants only is act as a catalyst. Chlorophyll is not taking part in the chemical reaction of photosynthesis. Even though in the process of photosynthesis, food is produced by the green plants. It remains as it is chlorophyll in each green plants, but only in presence of chlorophyll, the process of takes place, and that is why the food is produced. That is called autotrophs in case of plants. Similarly, in chemical reactions, there are also some catalysts. Now, chemical reactions are represented by chemical equations. Chemical reactions are represented by chemical equation. What do you mean by equation? Equation means both sides are equal. That means their mass is conserved, their atoms are conserved, and because of this, there are different chemical reactions. The name of that chemical reactions are like composition reaction, decomposition reaction, displacement reaction, double displacement reaction. Before to go towards our text, there are some questions are given in your book on your page number 30. What are the types of molecule of element? Yes. What are the types of molecules? There are three types of
Non-metal.
Metal, non-metal, metalloid.
good metals, non-metals,
Metal, non-metal, and metalloid.
when you are going to answer, you should raise your hands. I have in your screen. I will allow to one of them. Don't say like this. Okay. Now, next, what are the types of compounds? First, we should know what is compounds. In a compound, the elements combine chemically in a fixed proportion. By weight, a compound is formed. Compound, the properties of constituent elements which are taking part in the chemical reactions, they are completely widely different than that of the product. The properties of products and properties of reactants are completely different when compound is formed. That is called compound. The properties of the compound are altogether different from those of the constitutional element. Means those are the reactant, those are the substances, those are the elements which are taking part in the chemical reaction. That is called constitutional elements. Then what is meant by the valency of an element?
The number of electrons that an atom of an element gives away or takes up while forming an ionic bond.
Okay. Valency means those electrons which are in its outermost shell. they are said to be the valence electrons, and valence electron decided the valency of that element. Valency is need for to balance. Valency is need for to make the formation of ionic bond. Ionic bond means the tendency to accept or to donate the electron. That is ionic bond. Next, what is the requirement for writing a molecular formula of different compounds? Symbols of reactants are necessary for writing the molecular formula. What is requirement of writing molecular formula? Molecular formula लिहिण्यासाठी कशाची गरज असते? Symbols on
Symbols and
Symbols on
valency.
INC.
good, and valency should be known of each element. Next question is, how are the molecular formula of the compounds written? The number of the ions is written as a script on the right of the symbol of the ions. By cross multiplication by
By cross
valence, the formula is obtained. In 8th standard, we have already learned about the valency, how we can balance it with the cross multiplication. आपण 8वीला शिकलोय की व्हॅलेन्सी कशी बॅलन्स करायची क्रॉस मल्टिप्लिकेशन. उदाहरणार्थ H2O, H2 म्हणजे दोन ऍटम हायड्रोजनचे आहे म्हणून दोन व्हॅलेन्सी ही ऑक्सिजनची आहे. H2O दोन हायड्रोजन ऍटम लागतात म्हणून ऑक्सिजनची व्हॅलेन्सी किती? दोन. मग ऑक्सिजनला दोन सॅटिस्फाय करण्यासाठी दोन हायड्रोजन लागतात म्हणजे बाय क्रॉस मल्टिप्लिकेशन. Next, in your book there is one chart is given. Identify physical and chemical change from the phenomena given in the table. Now tell me, absorption of ice into water, is it physical change or chemical change?
Physical
physical
change.
change.
Physical change. Physical change.
Cooking of food,
Chemical change.
Chemical change. Change.
of
Change.
ripening of fruit,
Chemical change.
Chemical change.
Chemical
change. Chemical.
Chemical
Chemical change.
आता मम्मी तू सांग एका गोष्टींचं उत्तर.
Physical change.
Physical change.
now digestion of food in stomach, size,
Chemical change.
Chemical change.
Chemical change.
meaning of sharp, kadapa, time by lemon juice,
Chemical change.
that is also chemical change. There are some activities are given if when our school
Chemical.
okay. There are some activities are given in our book. When our school will open, at that time we will take all the activities side by side at the time of our experiment on practical. Then now chemical equations. First, tell me what is meant by reactant. Anybody raise your hands? Raise your hands. शिंदे सृष्टी तुझा हात वरतीच राहतो, hands down नाही करत तू. Okay, now tell me what is reactant. शिंदे.
The substance taking part in chemical reaction is called reactant.
Good. Down your hands. Okay. The substance which undergo bond breaking while taking part in a chemical reaction. That means the substance which are taking in the chemical reaction, taking part in the chemical reaction. Then what is product? Raise your hands. Raise your hands. What is product? Product म्हणजे काय? हात वरती करा. अक्षरा सावंत.
The substance formed as a result of a chemical reaction by formation of new bonds are called product.
Good. Down your hands. The substance formed as a result of a chemical reaction by formation of new bond, that is called product. That means in any chemical reaction there is breaking and formation of the bonds. While reactants are breaking the bonds, and while in a product formation of the bonds. Now writing a chemical reaction, there are some conventions. Convention means the traditional methods for writing the chemical reaction. Both the reactants are written on the LHS and products are towards the right hand side. Who is Galaxy Amai? नाव ने टाकले नाव टाका काही मुलींनी नावाने टाकले रिनेम मध्ये जा तिथं नाव टाका तुमचं 99ECD81 नाव टाका चला तुमचं ओके first reactant should be right towards the left side where products are written on the right hand side. Whenever there are two or more reactants are there, then plus sign between them, between two of them of the reactants. If two or more reactants are there, then plus sign between the reactants are there. If there are two or more products are there, then plus sign is written between each of the two products, same as reactants as well as in a product side. Then reactant side and product side are connected with arrow from left to right, pointing from reactant to the products, means left to the right arrow is to be indicated for the chemical reaction while writing the chemical reaction. The arrow represents the direction of the reaction. Heat is to be given from outside to the reaction. It is indicated by the sign delta. That means triangle is to be written just on the arrow. This delta indicates heat is to be provided for the chemical reaction. Next point, the conditions like temperature, pressure, catalyst, etc. are mentioned above the arrow for pointing towards the product side. While writing chemical reaction, while completing the chemical reaction, it may be necessary at specific temperature, at specific pressure, or in presence of any catalyst. We can write all these just above the arrow. The physical states of the reactants and products are also mentioned in a chemical equation, that is G for gas, small l for liquid, small s for solid, AQ. The means aqueous means the solution which is made in water, that is called aqueous solution. We can write in a bracket just near reactant as well as in a product side. Then some examples are given: copper sulfate, aqueous. Aqueous means in water solution. Means copper sulfate solution is produced in water. That is copper sulfate aqueous, and plus Zn, zinc, in bracket yes, yes for solid. That means granules of zinc are there in copper sulfate solution. Then reaction gives ZnSO4 means zinc sulfate aqueous, and copper sulfate in bracket yes means solid copper is to be deposited or settle down at the bottom of the reaction. Calcium carbonate, yes. Now balanced equations in a chemical reaction. Chemical reactions. In chemical reaction, the number of atoms of the element in the reactant is same as the number of atoms those elements in the product, such as the equation is called balance equation. Like Now see over the video.
Rules to write a chemical equation. Write reactants on the left side and products on the right side. Arrow indicates the direction of the reaction. If there are two or more reactants or products, write a plus sign in between them. For example, NaOH plus HCl gives NaCl plus H2O. Physical states: solid, liquid, and gas of the reactants and products.
Can you listen voice? आवाज येतोय तुम्हाला व्हिडिओचा?
हो.
No,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Now listen.
Yes.
Are indicated by the letters S, L, and G in brackets and written as such. That is, the products. Gaseous products can be indicated by an upward arrow. Soluble solid product is called precipitate or PPT, indicated by a downward arrow. When reactants and products are in water as a solution, is called an aqueous solution state, is indicated by letters AQ in brackets after their formula. If heat is provided to carry out a reaction, it is shown by delta, that is a triangle, written above the arrow. If heat is released during the reaction, it is indicated as follow. CuSO4 aqueous plus Zn gives ZnSO4 aqueous plus Cu plus heat. For a chemical reaction to proceed, a specific temperature, pressure, or catalyst conditions may be required. These conditions are shown below or above the arrow, which indicates the direction of the reaction. For example, vegetable oil plus H2 at 60 degrees Celsius gives Vanaspati ghee under nickel. Names of the reactants and products are written below their formulae. Special information of reactants and products are written below their formulae. As conditions of reactant changes, the product formed may change. Law of conservation of mass. Total mass of reactants is always equal to the total mass of products. What was the weight at the third and the fifth stage? What can we conclude from that? What changes have you noticed? Which type of change is seen? What can be concluded about solubility before and after?
Now states in balancing chemical equations. A chemical equation is balanced step by step. A trial and error method is used for this purpose. To balance the chemical equation, it is necessary to all the atoms which are taking part and all the atoms which are producing the product side and reactant side should be equal, and we can balance it by the trial and error method. Now, like example, sodium chloride, sodium hydroxide and sulfuric acid. Sodium hydroxide means NaOH and sulfuric acid H2SO4. Use Na2SO4 plus H2O. This is simple chemical reaction. Is it balanced chemical reaction? Now in first step, write the chemical equation from the given word equations. In this activity, while evaporating, dish containing lime stone powder is heated, carbon dioxide gas and calcium oxide is formed. Now see over the video.
Of a chemical reaction by trial and error method. Step 1. Write the chemical equation from the given word equation. For example, NaOH plus HCl gives NaCl plus H2O. Is derived from sodium hydroxide plus hydrochloric acid gives sodium chloride plus water. Step 2. Compare the number of atoms of various elements present on the two sides of the arrow, that is, of the equation. If it is the same, then the reaction is already balanced. On the reactant side, Na has one atom, and on the product side, it also has one atom. On the reactant side as well as the product side, O has one atom. H has two atoms both on the reactant as well as product side. Cl has one atom on the reactant side and one atom on the product side. Number of atoms of all the elements on reactant and product side are same, so the reaction is balanced. AlCl3 plus H2O gives AlOH thrice plus HCl. In this reaction, the total number of elements on both sides are unequal, so the reaction is unbalanced. Al has one atom on both sides, Cl has three atoms on the reactant side but only one on the product side. H has two atoms on the reactant side but four atoms on the product side. O has one atom.
सर आवाज नहीं येते.
Atom on the reactant side but three atoms on the product side. Step 3. Start balancing an equation from the compound which contains maximum number of atoms. Moreover, it is convenient to consider first that element in the same compound which has unequal number of atoms on the two sides. Please remember that the formula of the compound must remain the same while balancing the number of atoms. Select AlOH thrice for balancing. Number of Al on both sides are equal, so select oxygen for balancing next. Initially, in the reactants, the number of oxygen is 1 and the number of product is 3. So, to balance, we will multiply by 3 in the reactant side. So, the formula of H2O cannot be changed to H2O3. Instead, a coefficient of 3 will have to be written before H2O, such as AlCl3 plus 3H2O gives AlOH thrice plus HCl. Equation is still not balanced as the number of H on both sides are not equal. Initially, the number of hydrogen atoms on the reactant side is 6, while on the product side it is 4. So, to balance the equation, we need to add 2 more hydrogen atoms to the product side. So, we shall multiply the HCl compound by 3, giving a reaction AlCl3 plus 3H2O gives AlOH thrice plus 3HCl. Check if the equation is balanced or not. Now, all elements are equal on both sides. It means that this equation is now a balanced chemical equation. Step 4. Write down the final balanced equation again.
सर आवाज नहीं येते.
सर आवाज नाही येते.
Hello. Chemical reactions are classified into 4 types. Can you tell me the names of chemical reactions, different types of chemical reactions? Hello. Hello, raise your hands. Different types of chemical reaction. Hello. Akshara Sawan.
Decomposition reaction,
Good. Siddesh Rushdi.
displacement reaction,
Siddesh Rushdi.
reaction,
double
Combination
displacement
reaction.
reaction,
Nainika Jadhav.
Double
Tell me any types of
displacement reaction. Double displacement reaction.
मध्ये दीक्षा ऍप नका लावू. आमच्याकडे टाइम होऊन जातो.
Displacement.
okay. Combination reaction, decomposition reaction, displacement reaction, and displacement reaction. Now, in combination reaction, when two or more reactants combine in a reaction is to form a single product. आता बंद पडल्यानंतर पुन्हा रिजॉइन व्हायचंय बरं का तुम्हाला. When two or more reactants combine in a reaction to form single product, it is called combination reaction. Combination reaction, NH3 plus HCl use NH4Cl. NH3 form gaseous state. Therefore, small g is to be there. HCl, that is also in a gaseous state. 4. Now, second reaction 2Mg plus O2 use 2MgO. This calcium oxide plus H2O, it is calcium hydroxide plus heat. That means two reactants and one product. That is called combination reaction. Second type, decomposition reaction. In decomposition reaction, the chemical reaction with or more products are formed from a single reactant. In decomposition reaction, first in combination reaction two or more reactant and one product. Here one reactant and two or more product, that is called decomposition reaction. The chemical reaction in which two or more products are formed from a single product, it is called decomposition reaction. There are also some types of decomposition reaction like thermal decomposition, electrolytic decomposition. In thermal decomposition, the reaction in which a compound is decomposed by heating it to high temperature, that is called a thermal decomposition. That means reaction takes place in presence of or with the help of heat, that is called thermal decomposition. Like H2O, if electric current is passed through it, then it decomposes into hydrogen and oxygen gas. That is also called as electrolysis of water. Then electrolytic decomposition, the reaction in which compound is decomposed by passing the electric current through it.
Solution of
Solution or molten mass is called electrolytic decomposition. Now, rate increases on addition of some reactants, that means concentrations. Like calcium carbonate, if we heat it, then it gives calcium oxide plus carbon dioxide in a gaseous state. Or 2H2O2. H2O2 means hydrogen peroxide, that is in liquid state. If it decompose or if exposed into the air, that means in atmospheric heat, it decompose into 2H2O plus O2. तर हायड्रोजन पेरोक्साइड आपण हवेत पुढे ठेवलं तर त्याच्यातला ऑक्सिजन निघून जातो आणि फक्त पाणी शिल्लक राहतं. Yes, many degradation process takes place in the nature surrounding us. Like organic waste is also decomposed. This is also the degradation process. Microorganism and its result in the manure and biogas is formed. To formation of compost manure, organic manure, that is also the process of decomposition process. आपण जर पावसाळ्यामध्ये ओलं एखादं पोतं दारात ठेवलं तर काही दिवसानंतर ते डिकम्पोज होतं. That is the manure. Biogas is used to form. Next, displacement reaction. What is meant by displacement reaction? The reaction in which the place of the ion of a less reactive element in a compound is taken by another more reactant.
By formation.
Then another more reactants element by formation of its own ion is called displacement reaction. That means less reactive is remains as it is with displaced with the higher reactive element, like zinc plus copper sulfate. Zinc is more reactive than copper. Therefore, copper is displaced and formation of zinc sulfate plus copper plus heat. Similarly, copper sulfate plus iron. That is FeSO4 plus Cu plus H2O. Similarly, copper sulfate plus lead. Then fourth type is double displacement reaction. The now states in balancing chemical equations. A chemical equation is balanced step by step. A trial and error method is used for this purpose. To balance the chemical equation, it is necessary to all the atoms which are taking part and all the atoms which are producing the product side and reactant side should be equal, and we can balance it by the trial and error method. Now, like example, sodium chloride, sodium hydroxide and sulfuric acid. Sodium hydroxide means NaOH and sulfuric acid H2SO4. Use Na2SO4 plus H2O. This is simple chemical reaction. Is it balanced chemical reaction? Now in first step, write the chemical equation from the given word equations. In this activity, while evaporating, dish containing lime stone powder is heated, carbon dioxide gas and calcium oxide is formed. Now see over the video where the steps in
atom on the reactant side but 3 atoms on the product side. Step 3. Start balancing an equation from the compound which contains maximum number of atoms. Moreover, it is convenient to consider first that element in the same compound which has unequal number of atoms on the two sides. Please remember that the formula of the compound must remain the same while balancing the number of atoms. Select AlOH thrice for balancing. Number of Al on both sides are equal, so select oxygen for balancing next. Initially, in the reactants, the number of oxygen is 1 and the number of product is 3. So, to balance, we will multiply by 3 in the reactant side. So, the formula of H2O cannot be changed to H2O3. Instead, a coefficient of 3 will have to be written before H2O, such as AlCl3 plus 3H2O gives AlOH thrice plus HCl. Equation is still not balanced as the number of H on both sides are not equal. Initially, the number of hydrogen atoms on the reactant side is 6, while on the product side it is 4. So, to balance the equation, we need to add 2 more hydrogen atoms to the product side. So, we shall multiply the HCl compound by 3, giving a reaction AlCl3 plus 3H2O gives AlOH thrice plus 3HCl. Check if the equation is balanced or not. Now, all elements are equal on both sides. It means that this equation is now a balanced chemical equation. Step 4. Write down the final balanced equation again.
Then fourth type is double displacement reaction. The exothermic reaction, endothermic reaction, and precipitation reaction. What is meant by exothermic reactions? Exothermic reaction, the process in which heat is given out, and endothermic reaction, the reaction in which heat is absorbed. They are opposite reactions. एका रिएक्शन मध्ये हीट पुरवली जाते, एका रिएक्शन मध्ये हीट बाहेर पडते. ज्याच्यात हीट बाहेर पडते त्याला एक्सोथर्मिक म्हणायचं, आणि ज्याला हीट पुरवली जाते त्या केमिकल रिएक्शनला एंडोथर्मिक रिएक्शन म्हणायचं. The example of endothermic reaction is potassium nitrate. When it is added into the water, it gives potassium nitrate, aqueous potassium nitrate. But the temperature of the solution is decreases. Then heat is to be absorbed from the water. जर पाण्यामध्ये आपण पोटॅशियम नायट्रेट टाकलं तर पोटॅशियम नायट्रेटचं सोल्युशन तयार होतं, परंतु ते सोल्युशन गार लागायला. गार का लागतं तर ते पाण्यातली हीट ऍब्सॉर्ब करून घेतं, त्याला म्हणायचं एंडोथर्मिक रिएक्शन. एक्झोथर्मिक रिएक्शन मध्ये जर सोडियम हायड्रॉक्साईडच्या बॅलन्स मध्ये पाणी टाकलं तर सोडियम हायड्रॉक्साईडचं सोल्युशन तयार होतं, परंतु जर आपण त्याला हात लावला तर ते आपल्याला गरम दिसतं, तापलेलं दिसतं, त्याला म्हणायचं एक्झोथर्मिक रिएक्शन. Then slow speed reaction and fast speed reaction. Those reactions takes place very rapidly. That is called fast speed reaction, like sodium hydroxide and hydrochloric acid. That means that is neutralization reaction. Sodium chloride and water is produced. And in slow speed reaction, if potassium chlorate is decomposed, then it gives potassium chloride and oxygen molecule. This is very slow reaction, therefore it is called slow speed reaction. The factors which affects the speed of or the rate of reaction, just we have discussed at the initial stage, that is nature of the reactant. What is meant by nature of the reactant? Which reactants are taking part in the chemical reaction as per their nature, that means solid, liquid or gases, that is called nature of the reaction. Then second, size of the particles of the reactant. If size of the particle is smaller, then rate of reaction rapid, fast. Therefore, the reaction depends upon the particle size of the reactant. Next is concentration of the reactant. This is the third factor. If concentration increases, the rate of reaction is also increases. The concentration is decreases, rate of reaction is also slow down. Next, temperature. At higher temperature, the rate of reaction is also higher. And next is the catalyst. Catalyst means those substances which are controls the rate of reaction, but they are not taking part in the chemical reaction, that is called catalyst. Then oxidation reaction and reduction reaction. Oxidation means the chemical reaction in which reactants combines with oxygen or loses hydrogen to form the product, that is called oxidation reaction. Like carbon is heated in presence of oxygen, it gives carbon dioxide plus heat. जर कार्बनला उष्णता दिली तर तो ऑक्सिजनशी रिएक्ट होऊन कार्बन डायऑक्साइड तयार होतो आणि उष्णता तयार होते. That is oxidation reaction. In loses hydrogen, ethyl alcohol, that means C2H5OH plus Na is sodium, it gives sodium ethoxide, C2H5ONA plus H2. Then oxidants or oxidizing agents. The chemical substance which bring about the oxidation reaction by making oxygen available are called the oxidants or oxidizing agents. Now, ionic reaction, reduction reaction means the chemical reaction in which reactant use hydrogen and loses oxygen. Reduction reaction and oxidation reactions are also opposite to them. Here, the reactant gives hydrogen. There, hydrogen loses, reactants loses the hydrogen and loses oxygen to form the product. Reduction reaction मध्ये काय होतं, reactant hydrogen ला gain करतात आणि ऑक्सिजनला लूज करतात आणि ऑक्सिडेशन रिएक्शन मध्ये याची विरुद्ध क्रिया होते. In case of reduction reaction, copper oxide plus H2 it gives copper plus H2O. Here oxygen releases. In case of oxidation, gain of oxygen. In reduction, lose of the oxygen. Copper plus 2H2 means it gives CH4 means methane. Now reduction. The chemical substance which bring about a reduction by making hydrogen available are called reductant. Preparation of methane from carbon hydrogen is called the reductant. Then now last topic is redox reaction. Redox means reduction as well as oxidation. A redox gives reduction plus oxidation. That is also called oxidation reduction reaction. The reaction which involves simultaneously oxidation and reduction is called redox reaction. आता आपण ऑक्सिडेशन रिएक्शन पाहिली, रिडक्शन रिएक्शन पाहिली, या वेगळ्या वेगळ्या रिएक्शन होत्या, परंतु रेडॉक्स रिएक्शन मध्ये दोन्ही एकाच वेळेला घडून येतात, त्याला रेडॉक्स रिएक्शन म्हणायचं. The reduction and oxidation takes place simultaneously. Such a kind of reactions are called redox reaction. One reactant gets oxidized while the other gets reduced during the reaction. That is called redox reaction. Like copper oxide plus hydrogen, it gives copper plus H2O. Here oxidation of hydrogen means H2O. Reduction of copper means only copper, oxygen is released. There are some more examples of the redox reaction you will see over your book. Now oxidation means losing electron, reduction means gaining one or more electrons. Therefore that is called oxidation reduction reactions. Now corrosion. What is meant by corrosion? A slow process of decaying or oxidation of metal due to various components of atmosphere is known as corrosion. Corrosion म्हणजे गंजणे. एखादं लोखंड जर हवेमध्ये पावसाळ्यात जास्त काळ उभं राहिलं तर आपोआप त्याच्यावर असा रेड कलर लेयर तयार होतो. That is called corrosion. Iron rust and a reddish color layer is collected on it. This is called corrosion of iron. हे लोखंडाचं गंजन आहे. This is very slow process. Even though oxidation is takes place, oxygen which is present, oxygen which is exists in the air, it gets react with the iron and iron oxide is formed. That process is called the corrosion process. Iron when exposed to moist or forms a reddish layer is called hydrated ferric oxide. 2Fe plus 3O2 plus H2O. It gives 2 times Fe2O3. That means ferric oxide plus H2O. The rust is formed by electrochemical reaction. Iron oxides to iron oxide Fe2O3. Fe iron oxide means Fe2O3 dot H2O on one part of iron surface, while oxygen get reduced to H2O in another part of the surface. Iron becomes anode and cathode. जर आपण लोखंड हवेमध्ये उडत ठेवलं तर लोखंडाची एक बाजू एनोडचं काम करते तर लोखंडाची दुसरी बाजू कॅथोडचं काम करते. ज्या ठिकाणी एनोड असेल त्या ठिकाणी एक रिएक्शन आणि cathode असेल त्या ठिकाणी दुसरी रिएक्शन. Iron is oxidized. It gives Fe2 plus 3 at the anode region and Fe gives Fe2 plus 2 electron that is towards the cathode region. O2 is reduced to form water in the cathode region. म्हणजे लोखंड हवेमध्ये उघड ठेवल्यानंतर त्याची एक बाजू कॅथोडचं काम करते तर दुसरी बाजू एनोडचं काम करते. आणि एका बाजूची रिएक्शन वेगळी असते, दुसऱ्या बाजूची वेगळी असते. एका बाजूला इलेक्ट्रॉन दिले जातात, दुसऱ्या बाजूला इलेक्ट्रॉन घेतले जातात. That is the process of anode and cathode. A reddish colored hydrogen oxide is formed from Fe3 plus ion. It is rust 2 times Fe3 plus H2O. It gives Fe2O3 dot H2O plus 6H12. Because of various compounds of atmosphere, oxidation of metal takes place, consequently resulting in their damage. This all slow process of oxidation, it is called the corrosion. Then how to prevent the corrosion? Because it is necessary to prevent corrosion because it is dangerous for us. It can be prevented by using the anti-rust solution, coating the surface or a pad. आपण anti-rust solution किंवा पेट वापरून आपण रस्टिंग थांबवू शकतो. प्रोसेस लाईक गॅल्वनायझेशन ने पण आपण रस्टिंग थांबवू शकतो, करोजिंग थांबवू शकतो. इलेक्ट्रोप्लेटिंग is also one more method for to prevent the corrosion. That means we secure our metal. Now rigidity. Rigidity म्हणजे काय? खवटपणा. जर आपण एखादं तेल, एडिबल ऑइल, खाण्याचं तेल जर घरामध्ये जास्त काळ आणून ठेवलं तर काही काळानंतर ते वेगळ्या चवीचं लागतं, खवट लागायला लागतं, त्याला म्हणायचं रायसिडिटी. म्हणून घरामध्ये जास्त तेल, खाण्याचं तेल जास्त आणून ठेवायचं नाही. When oil or fat or left overcooking oil for making food stuff undergoes oxidation, it stored for long time and it is found to have a foul odor or acidity. जर ते तेल खराब वास करायला लागला असेल तर ते acidity झाली म्हणजे ते खवट झाला असं समजायचं. जर तुम्ही घरामध्ये जास्त दिवसाचं तेल आणून ठेवलं, त्याला जर गरम केलं, जर त्याचा फेस यायला लागला तर समजायचं की याचा ऑक्सिडेशन झालेला आहे, याचा अर्थ ते तेल खराब झालेलं आहे, असं तेल खाण्यायोग्य राहत नाही. इट मे बी कॉज फॉर द पॉइझनस. ते विषारी सुद्धा होऊ शकतं. म्हणून जास्त काळ आणून ठेवलेलं खाण्याचं तेल जरा काही खाण्यायोग्य राहत नाही. म्हणून जेवढं आवश्यक असेल 1 महिन्यापुरतं 2 महिन्यापुरतं तेवढंच आणून ठेवा. या ठिकाणी आपण हे थर्ड चॅप्टर कंप्लीट केलेलं आहे सायन्स पार्ट 1 चं. तुम्ही तुमचा एक्सरसाइज कंप्लीट करून मला पीडीएफ फाईल माझ्या पर्सनल WhatsApp ला टाकायची. ओके, have you listen all the girls?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
okay. Okay, ये
Yes, sir.
Any
Yes,
doubt?
sir.
Any doubt? काही objection आहे का?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
You write the exercises below. तुमच्या पुस्तकाच्या खाली जे एक्सरसाइज दिलेले आहे, you should write it carefully and properly and make the PDF file and send to me my personal माझ्या personal
Okay,
WhatsApp
sir.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Okay,
sir. Yes, sir.
we'll see you next time.
Okay, sir.
Friday
Bye, sir.
morning. Bye bye.
Bye, sir.